What's up, folks? Welcome to Math Walkthroughs with Mr. Weeb. Today we're determining the whole from a percent in our lesson 4 your turn questions. The first question is, estimate a number when you know 28% of the number is 51. Use a visual to show how you estimated. Well, the first thing I'll do is I will find a landmark friendly number that's fairly close to each of these. So if we look at the first one, 28%, we're going to change that one to 25%, and 51%, or sorry, not percent, but 51 is very close to 50, and those are easier numbers to work with. Next, I'm going to put this on a number line. This number line isn't very straight, but I think it gets the idea across. 0% is over here on the left, and 100% is on the right. What we're looking for is, we're looking for this number right up here. We don't know that number. However, we do know what 25% is. So let's divide this number line into 25% chunks. 50% goes in the middle, 25% is between 0 and 50, 75 is between 50 and 100. We know that 25% is 50, so let's put our 50 right there. Next, we could get from 25% to 100 by multiplying by 4, right? There are 4 quarters in a dollar, or 4 25s in 100. So we just multiply it by 4. And when we're multiplying, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So we multiply that, and our mystery number in this case is 200. That's a pretty good estimate. All right, next it asks us to estimate the value of the number for each given percent and explain your thinking. Well, I'm going to do the same thing again, except instead of 72%, I'm going to use 75%. Let's make this 75% of some number is equal to 60. And then I'm going to put it on a number line. So here's 100% over here on the right, and 0% is over here on the left. And since we're working with 75%, let's split it the same way that we did before, into 25% chunks, right? It's basically quarters. If 75% is 60 and what we want to know is here, what we could do is find out what 25% is. Well, to get from 75% to 25%, we're going to divide by 3. Right? If we take that 75 cents, there are 3 25 cents in there. So 75 divided by 3 will give us 25%. And whatever we do to the bottom, we got to do to the top as well. We're going to divide by 3. 60 divided by 3 is going to give us 20. Then all we're going to do to get from 25% to 100%, we multiply by 4 again. And to get from 20 over here, we're going to multiply by 4, and that will give us 80. Our final answer is 80. That's just an estimate, of course. Next, 11% of the number is 42. Let's make this into 10% of some number is 42. We don't even need to change it. I'll show you why. Here's our number line with 100% over here and 0% over here. Okay, 11% of the number, or 10% of a number, is 42. So 10%, I'm going to split this whole thing into 10 percentages. The way I like to do it is start in the middle, because that's an easy one to find. It's a really good benchmark. And then it's easy enough to split each of these halves into 5 equal groups by putting 4 lines about equidistant across them. Okay, now we have our 10% here, and we know that 10% is 42. So let's put 42 there. To get from 10% over to 100%, we multiply by 10. 10 times 10 is 100. We can do the same thing to 42. And it's not too hard to do. 42 times 10 is going to give us 420, and that's our estimate. Next, it's asking us to actually calculate things. So calculate the number for each given percent and show your work. So if 35% of the number is 49, I'm not allowed to change anything on this one, so I'm just going to draw my number line first without changing any of the values. Okay, 35% of the number is 49. I don't need to do anything fancy, but I will just put, I know that 35% is around a third, right? 33% is a third. So let's just put 35% around here. Okay, and we know that it's 49. The trick I'm going to use here is I'm going to find 1%. This is my goal. I'm going to find 1% of the number. And the way that I do that is I just divide this number by 35, because 35 divided by 35 is 1. And if I do it to the bottom number, I have to do it to the top number as well. Divide by 35. And I'm going to put this into my calculator. I'm going to go 49 divided by 35, and I get 1.4. So 1.4 goes right there. Next, this is a two-step process, I know, but it's not too hard because my next step is all the way to 100. To get there, I just need to multiply 1 times 100, and I get all the way to 100. I'm going to do the same thing to the top. I'm going to multiply this by 100 as well. And I don't even need to put that into the calculator, because the trick for multiplying by 100, I look at my decimal and I move it 2 spots over to the right. So it's going to be 140. And that is the final answer. Next it says 12% of the number is 15. Here's our number line with 100% on the right and 0% on the left. 12% of the number is 15. 12% is just a little bit over 10%, and we don't need to put lots of lines, just the 12%, and I'm going to put 15 on top. Next, I just divide this. Well, again, my goal is to get to 1%. And to get to 1%, I'm just going to divide this by 12. That'll get me right to 1%. And I'll do the same thing right there. So 15 divided by 12 is 1.25. Okay, next, to get from 1% to 100%, again, I'm multiplying by 100. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. Multiply this by 100. So again, I look at my decimal point, multiply by 100, and I move that spot over 2 spots to the right. And so I have 125, and that's my answer. Finally, Salima earned 45% of her yearly income by June. That was $36,000. How much will she earn in the entire year? So here's the entire year, 100% of the year, right over here, which is what we want to know. We want to know, what did she make in the whole year? 0% is over here. We know that she made $0 there, right? But what we know is at 45%, approximately halfway through the year, she will have already made $36,000. I'm going to divide this. What we're going to do is we're going to take one step to get to 1%, and then another step to get to 100%. So how do we get from 45% to 1%? We divide it by 45. And if we do that to the bottom, we've got to do the same to the top. Dividing by 45. So 36,000 divided by 45 is going to be 800. Okay, then to get from 1% over to 100%, we have to multiply by 100. And to get from 800 over there, we got to do the same thing, times 100. And that will give us $80,000. And that is our answer right there. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.